Unite for Ukraine is about our community in Crouch End helping communities in Ukraine that are being torn apart by a terrible war. On the 13th of March, Crouch End Festival and Songworks were joined at St Mary's Tower by local people with songs, poems, readings and personal experiences. The whole event was very moving and people gave generously. We raised over 1,300 in cash on the day. Please join us and support the DEC Ukraine humanitarian appeal. You can donate online by using the QR code, or you can text support to 70150. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to St Mary's. We're going to go straight into the programme and I'll talk to you afterwards, but I'd like to introduce to you Davies and Daughters, Flo and Holly.
Thank you very much. We're going to sing you a song from Ukraine, which is a song that is sung when people come to a house and are hosted, and the Ukrainians are fantastic in their hospitality. So we need to be fantastic to them in their give our hospitality. But this is an old song, a sort of song of welcome. Ой, зелене жито, зелене, хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито, женці ждуть, хороші гості мене ждуть, зелене є жито, женці ждуть, хороші гості мене ждуть, ой, зелене жито, зелене, хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито при межі, хороші гості гуди, зелене є жито при межі, хороші гості від душі, ой, зелене жито, зелене, хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито, женці жнуть, хороші гості мене ждуть, зелене є жито, женці ждуть, хороші гості мене ждуть, ой, зелене жито, зелене, хороші гості у мене, зелене є жито при межі, хороші гості вожді, зелене є жито при межі, хороші гості від душі.
very much, Davies and Daughters. That was like that. Okay, welcome everyone officially. It's wonderful to see so many people out on a slightly drizzly Sunday afternoon. And it's been a long time, 2 years, since we've been able to kind of gather like this, although we are in the open air, so that's okay. And before we start, because we can do this now, I wonder if you would like to turn to your next door neighbour, who you're standing next to, whether you know them or not, and shake their hand. Introduce yourself, say what your name is. I know it's a bit awkward, but still, we're all neighbours. Okay, well done. It's a bit awkward, but never mind. Let me introduce myself. My name's Amanda Carrara. I'm one of the 3 Cratchend Festival directors. Chris Arnold, Chris Curra will be passing amongst you. And we and Denise and the Songworks Choir organised this fundraising event in all of 8 days, I think. I'm a Cratchender of 25 years and proud to be one. I'm British, born in Norwich, of Italian parentage, and I'm a Russian speaker. Studied at school, university, worked with Russians all my working life. But when the news of the war came, when the war started, I was watching and reading and listening to the news getting worse and worse every day, and wondering what on earth I could do to help, like everyone, really. I felt very strongly that our community, which is very strong, would want to come together to help all the communities in the Ukraine and everywhere that are being torn apart and destroyed. So together with Denise and Songworks, we organised this event. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, there will be several speakers. This will last for about 30, 40 minutes altogether. We'll have songs. There will be people reading. Catherine West is speaking. Hannah Richards from the DEC will talk about the fundraising that's going on there. Feel free to sit or stand. And if you've got tea lights, by all means, switch those on as it gets dark. I will now pass you over to Songworks Choir.
We're going to sing Peace in Our Time by Nick Prater.
Peace in our time. poem by Margot Henderson. We are all refugees. Every one of us has come from somewhere else in order to be here. We are all refugees. Every one of us has crossed the sea within our mother's womb to wash up on this shore on earth. Every one of us will journey to that other shore in death, to wander endlessly across the universe. We are all refugees. Every one of us is seeking refuge, food, warmth, shelter, closeness, community, and peace. In any given moment, any one of us could lose any or all of these. We are all refugees. How many of our ancestors fled famine, poverty, war, and disease? We are alive because they survived. Now, what are we living for, if not to take this opportunity to live the heart of our humanity and become makers of the peace? We are all refugees.
Good evening. Let me introduce myself. I'm sorry, it's been written the last moment, and I'm gonna read it. My name is Elena. I'm British Ukrainian. I was born in Ukrainian small town called Kanatop. Kanatop, situated in between such big cities, Kharkiv, Sumy, Chernihiv, Kyiv. That is exactly the area where now Ukrainians are fighting Russian fascists. I call them fascists, as only fascists can invade and destroy cities, kill civilians, and ruin such a beautiful, civilized, peaceful Christian country. Ukraine is now at real war, the war you and me see only from the blue screens, and the war which Ukrainians witness with their own eyes. The Putin fascists now just destroyed infrastructure, not just destroy infrastructure, cities and villages. They bomb residential areas, schools, hospitals. On the second day of this war, in a small town, Akhtirka, the nursery was bombed and completely demolished. And yes, civilians were killed. The Russian president called it a military operation of freeing Donetsk, never a war in northern or eastern part of Ukraine. They claimed they came to free Ukrainian Russians from sort of Russian language discrimination. What a nonsense. Just close your eyes for a second and imagine that the house you live in can be easily destroyed by some ruthless barbarians. The schools where your kids go can be bombed. Imagine yourself spending hours in your cellars for praying for not to be killed. And imagine you are getting out of these cellars to find out that your home been completely demolished by missiles. And it's not a horror movie, it's a reality. Ukrainians from now on. Kanatop is my hometown, now with bombed and destroyed bridges, airport, and been surrounded now by Russian tanks since day one, and the missiles, rockets pointed at it. People can't get in and can't get out. They're lucky enough to live more or less normal lives with heat, water, and electricity, as fascists don't get it, and they don't get in. But they are running out of food supplies. Their shelves of the shops getting empty. Only today, since the war started, they have received humanitarian aid, and those were medications. And they're lucky enough to have their own bread, milk, and meat factories. Kharkiv, the city I used to go to university in mid-90s, has been bombed badly, and the city where my uncle family lives, my cousin brother with his family, had to drop everything and flee Shell City after 1 week living in underground shelters. Luckily now him and his young kids are safe in western Ukraine. Kharkiv city center been completely demolished by missiles. Also, my niece had a singing studio in the center of that city. It's all been destroyed. My auntie worked in a special school for blind people. The school is located in a historical building. The building is 130 years old. Hitler came in 1949-42, didn't touch that building. These barbarians did. And now it's all completely ruined and destroyed. My aunt's brother house been destroyed by missiles, and now they have to live in the underground tube shelter, as there is a food provided for them. Some other cities, north and northeast, were completely demolished. Perhaps many, if you see pictures of perhaps if you see the pictures and you remember the pictures of Aleppo after being bombed in Syria. That's how 5 or 6 big cities look like, and that's how the small villages and small towns look like in Ukraine. Surrounded by Russian city of Melitopol, and people of it being left with no heat, no water, no electricity. All this time, for 18 days, they're in cellars and underground shelters. No access to food, no water, as they're in a blockade. A 6-year-old girl died yesterday from dehydration. People of bombed areas in Ukraine are suffering. Many of them flee, but many of them remain where they are, as they're afraid to leave their properties for many different reasons. Putin been bombing non-stop residential areas, schools, hospitals. They use prohibited weapons in Ukraine. Recently, the half-ton bomb been dropped on a medical center with labor wards. There are many civilian casualties, including pregnant women. Civilian casualties, elderly women and children die there every day. Seemed there was an agreement about opening the green corridors for humanitarian aid and for refugees to escape. However, there are so many cases of bombing columns of lorries delivering aid, killing, fleeing people in buses. Putin doesn't play by fair rules and been completely reckless and cruel toward Ukrainian nation, who constantly from day one shows him total mental and physical resistance. For 18 days of this war, already 85 kids dead and nearly 100 are injured. More than 100 civilian people died. And I could talk about it non-stop for many days, trying to describe my pain and pain of my nation. I would like to read a well-known verse from the Bible. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. And here I am, standing and asking you to support my country and Ukrainian fellows. There are already things being done, a huge amounts of money donated by British government, Her Majesty the Queen herself and British public. So much financial support. We have military supplies, food, clothes. British nation is amazingly supportive, sympathetic and indifferent to those who is in trouble. Ukrainians are grateful for that, and I'm proud to be a citizen of your country. I feel your support, and they feel your support too. However, people of Ukraine back in their country and Ukrainian refugees around European countries need constant support and aid, as the most of what they possessed been destroyed and abandoned. Please donate if you can and keep supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena. That was very sobering. I'm going to change the mood very slightly because this is a sobering thing as well. But I want to introduce to you 2 young girls, Anna, Malkin and Varya Eliseeva, both 8 years old, both classmates at Coleridge School, Orange class, I think, is that right? Yeah. And when I said that we were organising this event, I think Anna said to me first, then I'd like to say something. And then she said, well, I'll say something if Varya comes with me. And so they were determined, and they have a small written speech that they want to say to you. They're both Russian, I should say, with a little bit of Ukrainian. Yes? Okay.
As a Russian, I do not support this war. It is Putin's war, and Russian people do not support him too. All my friends and family do not support him. We all support Ukraine. Some people in Russia risk their lives to stop the war. By that I mean they go to jail. People in Ukraine have to leave, and most of them are going to Poland. My uncle had to flee Russia. He did not support the war, and the children that live in Ukraine have to hide in the basements or flee their homes. Some have to have their birthdays there with one candle and nothing at all. Only one candle. No child should suffer like this.
Could we give a big clap to the girls who spoke so beautifully? Two lovely students from Coleridge Primary who are saying what they think. And when Amanda introduced today's event, she talked about her friendship with Russian people over many, many decades. And that's how we feel. We are friends with Russians, we are friends with Ukrainians. And it is the leadership of Russia which is not doing the right thing. So I think that is a very, very important message from the girls today, that there are people who object in Russia today to this war. And that's what we take away from today, that it is not something which the Russian people are perpetrating, but it's their leader who needs to be brought to book. And we want to see President Putin, and indeed his friend Mr. Assad, brought to us a Nuremberg-style trial so that we can all hear the terrible crimes against humanity which are being perpetrated in the last 18 days. Some of you will have seen some of the footage of body bags being put into mass graves. We didn't think that this would happen in Europe in our lifetimes again, but sadly that is the reality, and anyone who tries to downplay that reality is falling in with people not telling the truth. And we need to face the truth, and that is sadly the truth. I also wanted to briefly say that our community here in Hornsey and Wood Green always extends the hands of friendship to refugees. Whether it's refugees from Afghanistan, whether it's refugees from Syria, whether it's refugees from Somalia, whether it's refugees from the 1939 to 44 conflict. When we had a recent event at Fortismere School, I asked the audience who here has someone in their family who at some point was a refugee. Nearly every hand shot up. This is a community where we believe in extending the hand of friendship to refugees in need. Today is not a day for me to critique the Home Office. I can do that in Parliament tomorrow. But I would say that obviously we feel more needs to be done, otherwise we would not have come today. And thank you to everyone here who's putting their hand up for the Sponsor a Refugee scheme, and we will try to get to the bottom of what that scheme consists of tomorrow. I also wanted, while I was speaking about Parliament, just to say what a moving occasion it was, for the first time ever, to have a leader of a country address each of us in the House of Commons, because as you all know, it's a bear pit and it's very much an adversarial style of environment, and to have everybody there listening to the leader, to Zelensky, it was a really, really moving occasion.
And the final thing I wanted to say was just that Eleanor from Canatop put it beautifully when she said that we are here together to remember what is happening, to extend the hand of friendship and to give generously. And I know we're going to have the appeal later. So think of Eleanor, think of our beautiful girls. Thank you to Amanda, who obviously loves Russia, she's a Russophile, and to everyone else who, for one reason or another, extends the hand of friendship to refugees. Slav Ukraine, Slav Hornsey and Wood Green. And a big thank you to Denise and the choir.
We're going to sing a Russian song now, Tebe, Pojem, which means, the translation is, we sing to you, we praise you, we thank you, O Lord. And it was written by a Ukrainian composer. So.
Simon Armitage, our poet laureate, wrote this poem as a response to the war. Resistance. It's war again. A family carries its family out of a pranged house under a burning thatch. The next scene smacks of archive newsreel, platforms and trains, toddlers passed over heads and shoulders, lifetimes stowed in luggage racks. It's war again. Unmistakable smoke on the near horizon, mistaken for thick fog. Fingers crossed. An old blue tractor tows an armoured tank into no man's land. It's the ceasefire hour. Godspeed the columns of winter coats and fur-lined hoods, a high wire walk over buckled bridges, managing cases and bags, balancing west and east. Godspeed. It's war again. The woman in black gives sunflower seeds to the soldier, insists his marrow will nourish the national flower. In dreams, let bullets be birds, let cluster bombs burst into flocks. False news is news with the pity edited out. It's war again. An air raid siren can't fully mute the cathedral bells. Let's call that hope.
Burning for
our very own Hannah Richards, who works for the DEC. She's going to...
Well, obviously I'm mainly here as a member of the choir. But in my day job, I'm the Director of Communications for the Disasters Emergency Committee. And I want to say an enormous thank you today to all of you who are here and who are donating. The DEC is a charity that brings together 15 of the biggest humanitarian charities in the UK in times of crisis. And I think we can all agree that this is a crisis. The response to the appeal has been extraordinary. In just over a week, we raised more than £150 million. Just let that sink in. Every pound that was given represents someone wanting to say something, someone wanting to stand up and support people affected by conflict in Ukraine. And that's what I take home at the end of the day, is that this is an awful, unjust thing that is happening. But all of those pounds that come in mean that the good guys are still winning, that there's still more of us out there that are good. And I want to say that we feel the responsibility and the faith that is being put in the DEC and our member charities to spend this money where it needs to go, when it needs to be spent, with the people who have most been affected. I think we're all here because we all know that we're connected. And we've talked today, we know about the situation in Ukraine. But one thing that struck me this week as I was speaking to a colleague was the links between everything. And I want to tell you about a 14-year-old boy called Samir. He's from Afghanistan, and 8 months ago he was made a refugee with his family from Afghanistan, and he found a peaceful new life in Ukraine. And then this week, he and his family spent 30 hours driving to the border and 3 days sleeping in their car in freezing cold temperatures to cross the border again. And Samir said to my colleagues when he crossed the border into Poland, "This is a feeling I recognise, this relief of getting to safety." The idea that that family has had to go through that twice is unthinkable. But Save the Children, one of our member charities, were there, welcomed them, gave them warm clothes, gave them a cup of tea, gave them the information they need, and found them shelter for that night. And that's the kind of support that your money will help deliver today. But we know that £150 million is a lot of money, and we hope that it will go very, very far. Not only in supporting people how they need it today, but into the weeks and months ahead, because we don't know what comes next. But we will take that money and we will spend it when it's needed, where it's needed. So we're very, very thankful for all your support today.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I was expecting her to say something about how you can donate, but I think you all know. I think you're doing enough. We've got amazing collectors passing amongst you with buckets. Any cash is very welcome. On those little buckets, there are also DEC QR codes, so you just get out your phone and click on and you can donate. You can text your donation as well. And if all else fails, you can go home and go onto the DEC website. So just donate generally and generously is what I can say. I'm so grateful to all the people who come and read and talked and spoken to us, young and old. And really, I'd like to bring the event to a close. We've got twilight, we've got good weather, thank God. And wanted to introduce Sita Brahmachari, yes, who is going to give a reading and I'll leave that with you. Thank you very much for coming, and have a safe journey home.
So this is a reading from the refugee people at Islington Centre for Refugees and Migrants, and every year Denise and this wonderful choir supports the Refugee Centre there. The Refugee Centre supports refugee people from around the world. We went out one day to the New River Path, a pleasant place. I don't know if any of you know it. And we wrote this poem together and we painted together. And it reminds me of the anthem of William Blake. Walk me to the pleasant place where the river flows, where the flowers grow. Walk with me, walk me to that river. Take me to that sunny day where a sweet breeze whispers through the weeping leaves. Oh, walk me to that river. Take me to where the willows grow, where the sun shines along the river lines. Oh, walk me to that river. Walk me to the secret place where the sun brings us her warm embrace. Oh, walk me to that river. Help me find where the branches bend, in that pleasant place where the weeping ends. Oh, walk me to that river. Walk me to where the rivers bend. Walk with me to where the weeping ends. Walk with me to where the soft breeze blows. Oh, walk me to that river. Then, paint a new river. Paint a new tree. Paint a bird that sings of love to me. Paint me the sunshine, paint me a smile. Paint me some laughter. Paint me a child. Paint a new river. Paint a new tree. Paint a new life of freedom for me. Walk us to where weeping ends. Walk us to where flowers grow. Walk us to where soft breeze blows. Walk us to the sunny day where the weeping ends, where our family's safe, where we sit with friends. Oh, walk us to that river. Return us to that river, to that green and pleasant land. Walk us to that river and offer us hope's hand.
Thank you so much, Sita. Thank you. So we're going to end now. And one thing we haven't checked: did anybody bring a tea light and a match? Yes, Izzy did. Excellent. Well, we were hoping you might all bring tea lights, and I'm afraid we didn't. So there was supposed to be a segment now where we start lighting up the tree. But we have got battery-lit tea lights, haven't we? Okay, we're going to get them. Yeah, well done, lovely. But we've got some tea lights as well, haven't we? Is Chris going in there? Great. So, anybody who would like to, we're going to just lay some tea lights around the tree there, just to end. So. The choir will sing a couple more songs, and you can just leave or stay as you wish and light a candle on your way. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you to Amanda and all the other speakers. Thank you so much. Okay. Izzy, as you've got an actual candle, maybe you could be the first to go to the tree. It's this tree here. see if you'd like to join in. So these words are in Zulu. Thina Simunye, would you like to say those words? Thina Simunye. Sing a bomb deni. Sing a bomb deni. Thina Simunye, sing a bomb deni. Thina Simunye, sing a bomb deni. Thina, have you got a high voice? Thina, Thina Simunye, sing a bomb deni. One more time, sing it with us. Thina, Thina Simunye, sing a bomb deni. And the words mean, we are together, we are family. Would you like to sing those words? We are together. We are family. One more time. We are together. We are family. Right, so the choir will sing and you're invited to join in. And I think there's some candle activity going on. People would like to come and get a candle and leave them by the tree with a little wish for Ukraine. Thank you. Sally's handing them out, yeah. So, Tina, remember. Safe home, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's